Hello and welcome to another podcast today, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in. My name is Carlo Bianchini. You can find me on Instagram at Carlo V Joseph on Instagram. And I'm joined by my two other hosts here, my co-hosts today, Vindu and Hunyah. Say hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Yeah. So today's discussion is going to be all about side hustles. So I'm super excited to talk about this. I think side hustles can be something that are really fun to get engaged with. And I think that it can be super beneficial for a lot of the youth and young people to take part in. So at any time, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them into the chat. I'm going to just make sure I have the chat pulled up here so that way I can answer any questions that anyone is asking. But yeah, today's all about side hustles. So let's first start off with what is a side hustle. So, chances are there are a ton of things ton of things that you're interested in, ton of things that you might like doing, right? And so a side hustle, the term side hustle has sort of been used where people have taken the idea and made a side gig and replaced it with building a business, right? And the idea is so that you can kind of quit your regular 9 to 5 job, work less hours because you have this side hustle, this side business going on. But not everyone obviously wants to risk that or ditch the day job completely, especially within today's economy. So a side hustle essentially is something you can do to earn extra money while working, right? That's how I see it. I think that's how many people would define it as. And you do it in addition to whatever your regular gig is, hence the term side. So it doesn't automatically become your main source of income, nor does it ever have to. So there are all different types of side hustles. And today we're going to be going through some of our favorites. And if anybody has some suggestions, please feel free to put them into the chat. We'd love to talk about them. And I'm sure you guys would have some great suggestions too. So the very first one that I wanted to dive into here, selling or flipping used products, sometimes even new products. So chances are there are a ton of things in your house right now that you aren't using. They're tucked away, maybe in a box and a shelf, gathering dust instead of making you money. I know for myself, I often find myself collecting electronics and things that I don't typically use at all times. And just, I don't find a use for them anymore. And I think, oh, hey, maybe I should sell this. So start to think about stuff like that. There are a lot of sites that you can actually use to flip products on. Sites like eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, which we got into in our social media presentation, Kijiji, even Amazon. Yeah, yep, there you go, exactly. And this can be used to offload merchandise for profit. Now, I've tried to do this myself on a couple of different products. I use the Facebook drop shipping method where I was doing cameras for a while, I was doing pet supplies for a while, and every once in a while I would make pretty good numbers in sales. So it's definitely a positive thing. It's definitely achievable. And what a lot of people do is they buy cheap from another site like perhaps Alibaba or a site that offers the product for less. And then they would go on to reselling that on a site like Amazon. So they use Amazon's filler program and Amazon's program to resell that inventory. So the beauty of selling these like secondhand goods is that you can work in any niche that you're interested in, right? And I know for myself, I was interested in pet products, in cameras, like I said. So, this can be anything that you might be interested in, from books to hardware to tools to things for cars. I know a huge niche recently that popped up for me was vintage furniture. So that was a really cool one. And while this can mostly be a part-time gig or part-time job, there could be potential to scale it into a store, right? And actually create a bigger online business from it. And then starting small like this, flipping these products is a really great way to scale upwards. And it maybe one day get rid of that 9 to 5.
Yeah. Well, one thing I want to add in there is, have you guys listened to Gary Vee?
Yeah,
No?
of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gary Vee always talks about, kind of like the flipping products. I know right now there's not a lot of garage sales, but what he used to do is he would go to like garage sales, find some good items that you can sell online, and he would just go around, collect those and flip it, right? And I think right now, especially with like so many places to sell, like Facebook Marketplace and all these places, what a lot of people do is they go on Alibaba, like you said, they do a lot of drop shipping, right? So I really like the idea of selling or like flipping. I know one more thing that can kind of relate to this is also flipping cars. I know a lot of people do that on the side too. I know some people that do that, where they would buy a car for cheaper that has some repairs, right? They would repair it and then they would flip it for more money, right? But now it's a little bit harder to do that because, especially in Alberta, the car prices have increased. But that's another side hustle that you could do if you're into cars. You like, working on cars, maybe fixing up cars and selling it.
Yeah, no, that's a really, really good one. Going a bit back to the Gary V one too, I remember seeing a lot of his episodes where he goes to the garage sales with
Yeah,
people, right? And then he would buy the item, whether it be like a mug, a hat, a book, whatever it is, and then you would immediately search it up on Amazon or eBay and see, look, it's selling for like $12 more on Amazon or eBay. He would go, right, and he goes,
yeah,
that's a great buy, right? So he'd buy it for as cheap as possible. I remember like in some offers he would be literally offering 25-50 cents for some items, right? And I think
100%.
that's
Yeah.
kind of like the key. It's super, super cool to see him do that. um yeah, actually, it's interesting that you talk about flipping cars too, because I had recently been interested in that because of my auto detailing business. And I had the ability to clean up cars, maybe change a few things, fix a few things, as long as it was kind of basic stuff. And there's
Yeah.
definitely a really good market for it. Do be aware, though, that Canada does have some bylaw restrictions about flipping too many vehicles. I think
Yeah, they
like
do.
you're only
Yeah.
allowed maybe to purchase one or two vehicles a year. So keep that in mind. But it can still,
I know there is ways to get around it. I'm not sure what the
yeah.
ways are, but I know there's some ways because I know some people that they have a mechanic and then they flip
Mhm.
trucks, right?
Yeah.
And they do like a lot, and they have some ways to do it. I don't know how it is, but I mean, there's always a way. I don't know if it's legal, not legal, but
You're talking
there's some
about used
people.
products. I have something to add in. I actually did a high side hustle myself. It was a thrift store, which I actually did in since the beginning of the year till March. And in there, like I didn't flip things in there, but they were like slightly used things. And many families they were very eager to buy because they couldn't go to any stores at that time because of the lockdown. So they found it useful coming to me. So that's how I actually ended up doing this business.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Thrifts are great. I mean, there's a lot of good opportunities there. I think like you could start like an Instagram page for your thrift store, gain some followers to it organically. It's a really great idea. And a lot of that kind of thing can be done at any age, like as early as like what, 15, 16. Some of my friends are
The
starting to do
only
that.
challenge in there was since it was like a lockdown for like 3-4 months straight, is that I couldn't take any used items for people who were interested, but any used items that were in my house, I offered it to the to customers and they were more than happy to take it. So they actually felt like it's better going to a store than actually just like getting from someone from their house that and it's like it was really easy. So it really benefited the people.
Right.
Nice.
Correct. Awesome.
Also seen I don't know if you guys seen this, but I've seen like stuff on like Instagram and like TikTok and social media about like people flipping stuff where they would get like this kind of like almost like a fake ad, but like a bubble, like a shooting like a bubbles gun, and then it would actually be from Alibaba, but they sell it for like $40, where in Alibaba they can get it for like, 10 less than $10, right? I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of those.
Yeah.
And especially with the lights in your house too, those lights that you can put on your room. A lot of people
Yes,
flip
the
those too, right?
LED ones. Yeah, of course, of course. And it's interesting
Yeah.
too because I often see the ads for those drop shippers and people that are
Yeah,
doing that come up on my For You page on TikTok, even in between my friends' stories on Instagram. Um, and yeah, that's all it is. It's kind of like that drop shipping idea or concept, right? Where you're buying the cheap, like you said, you're buying the product super cheap from Alibaba, and then you're selling it for a product, even on Facebook Marketplace, or if you're creating ads for it and
yeah,
stuff too. Yeah,
100%, yeah.
it's a really great thing to get started, and there's potential to make a lot of money in it too.
Yeah.
Again, not something that you want to rely on. I think, of course, maybe starting off, don't quit that day job when you're first
Yeah,
starting off with it,
but
right?
good
But
side hustle to make some
good
extra money.
side hustle, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, a really good one. And I think like make sure that the quality of the item that you're choosing is good.
Yeah.
Make sure that there is a niche for it, that people are going to be interested in it, and it's not just kind of some weird niche thing that you only might be into. Although nowadays with the internet, I'm sure you could have reach for almost anything. So
100%.
it's a
Actually,
positive.
about that, Carlo, I don't know if you've seen this, but have you seen the guy that makes the $1 bill and he like puts art on it and he sells it for $100?
No, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, there's this guy on Instagram and he's on TikTok too. He would actually like do artistic, like color it, like make it like really good looking. Like he would
Oh
put like
wow.
anime stuff and cartoon stuff. He would
And also
package it
some
really
of
nicely.
pies too. I recently seen that there's like all these like really decorative, elegant pies that they do based on characters on TikTok.
Yeah, so it's really good how you can use your like creative side and find something that's like doesn't look that appealing and make it
Yeah.
worth more.
What's that? Is there like a link to it at all to the social media? What's it called? Do you
Ah
know?
man, I forgot, but when I'll look
I,
into it. Just like it's
yeah,
probably easy to find, like
a
one
one
dollar
dollar.
bill.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Artistic bill,
cool.
right?
I have to check that out. That seems very cool.
Yeah, but
Um, and also so smart, right? To use your creativity, but you're literally just changing that $1 bill's
I
worth
know,
to
and then
a
make it.
hundred
There's
dollars.
actually one other thing that I've actually done besides the thrift store is I actually did shoe art and I did like based on pop culture and I actually sold those in 2019.
Right.
And like most of the youth, they actually want to take they actually want to just grab all of them. So I had some based on NBC shows, I had some based on different events and on different things I did, like brands and all these things. So I actually did shoe art in 2019 and I actually did I was actually part of an entrepreneur showcase that year. And that's like where I actually flip like these $5 shoes that I get from Rijin. And it was like the result was amazing.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah, it's very cool. All of the different things that you can flip and get into. I think like a good show to kind of that makes me think of that is Storage Wars. I don't know if you guys ever watched that. I
Yeah,
I've
storage
seen
love
was
that, I
Storage
haven't
fun.
Wars,
watched
right?
it.
Oh,
Yeah,
you should get into it. It's super entertaining, super interesting, and you get to learn about the value of so many different objects, so many different things, and it's crazy to me. And it's super interesting to see like older items and what they're priced at down in the States. It's mostly filmed in the States, but yeah,
And also
very
there's like
very
home
interesting show.
renovation shows as well and car renovation things I've also seen on Netflix too. Like that's where they
actually,
get the car detailing and all these things.
Yeah.
Carlo, I found the video here. Maybe if you want to show the viewers, I can pull it up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Can send it in
Yeah,
the
I
chat
can.
perhaps,
Yeah, sure. Let
or
me send
take
it.
over the screen sharing privileges.
Yeah, sure. Here, I'll just share it just so you guys can have an idea what I'm talking about. So, but see,
Okay.
it's so
Yeah.
simple, right? But selling it for a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very cool. So he's creating that art on it. It's going for $100 a piece, right? Like
Yeah,
that's really interesting.
but it
Yeah,
That's
just
very
that
cool.
is interesting.
it shows you like if you have the artistic side, that creative side, you can take pretty much anything and put a little bit of art and touch into it and use
Make a
social
business out of
media.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's crazy.
And it's a really great platform, I feel like, TikTok to use for that kind of thing, because the
100%.
level of support that you get on TikTok is like totally unreal in terms of the level of support that you get on other platforms. I feel like people on TikTok are way more engaged because it's so personable, like it's so guided
Yeah,
towards what's on your For You page. So anyone who's coming across that, anyone who's seeing that is going to really appreciate that and value it at a higher degree
100%.
than
Yeah.
normal, for sure. Yeah, okay, so let's go on to the next one here. All super interesting points. I just want to make sure we get through. Tutoring online was a big thing that I've discovered personally for me. If you're knowledgeable about a particular subject or, several subjects, there are a bunch of different tutoring platforms that you can get started with online. And it can be a great option to bring in some money, some extra cash as well. Tutoring can pay, via session, hourly, and you can easily bring in a couple extra $100 a month just tutoring. You can take on private tutoring clients, or you can look at local, international platforms that offer tutoring on an international level. You can connect with companies like VIP Kid is a really great company that just announced today, actually, that they're going global with their tutoring platform. So before it was only students based in China, and now they're offering services to the entire world, which is great. So that's a really great company to get started on if you're interested in tutoring children or even perhaps adults in English in the future. BrainFuse is another company that pays an hourly or contract rate, but it helps you obtain clients for tutoring, which is super fun. It's really, really great. So yeah, teaching English is a big one that's up there. For me, I put this picture of a guitar player here because I tutor in English and I tutor in guitar and voice at Carlo V. Joseph on Instagram. If you're interested in that, just send me a little DM. But yeah, and I think it's a really great experience to, especially now with this online ability that we have to kind of video chat and at good quality from anywhere in the world. It's a really great opportunity to meet people as well and just talk to people from all around the world. I've learned a lot. I've made some really great connections off of tutoring online. I have made some good connections with my students in China. I've been with VIP Kid for 4 years now, and it's a really, really awesome platform. I would highly recommend it. And tutoring is a great option because if you're looking for future scalability, usually because tutoring happens in a one-to-one kind of basis or perhaps in a small group setting, we can create more options for us to take on like multiple people, right? I know that a good amount of my friends who have become teachers now, music teachers, drama teachers, offer courses where they have multiple people attending the course online via Zoom or a chat of some kind. And that's a really, really great way to go about things. So yeah, tutoring, definitely where it's at. I don't know if, do you guys have any experience in tutoring at all?
I was gonna say, okay, you can go first.
Oh, no, sure, yeah. Yeah, I don't have personal experience, but my brother, he was getting tutored in Japanese and he was learning that for a little bit from a girl from Japan. So I thought, that's really cool where you can pretty much learn from sitting at home, right? And somebody teaching you. So that's really cool.
With me, I didn't take any, I did take classes online, but they were from like different organizations over here. So I actually used my time during COVID to actually gain some new skills. So that was really beneficial. It was all because of Zoom. And on top of that, I've actually facilitated about 4 or 5 sessions through Zoom to a whole bunch of different people. So I actually had a good experience in that. Like, it wasn't tutoring, but it was kind of like related to it.
Love it. Yeah. So once again, it's a really great thing to kind of do as a side hustle, or I know a lot of people have actually taken their teaching and tutoring and gone full time with it, which is really, really great. There are a ton of platforms. Cambly is another platform where you can teach English internationally. Really, really cool. Yeah, there's VIP Kid. There's a whole bunch that are constantly coming out every single year. Some are specific to certain regions within the world, and then some are international. But it's a really great thing to get started on. OutSchool is another really great online tutoring center where you can actually create your own course and then offer that course on the program OutSchool, on the website OutSchool. And students, if they're interested in it.
I a course on Thinkific actually.
Yeah.
In around February, but I've never gotten a chance to actually log in back and see I'm registered. But the one that I did actually was it was like pre-recorded sessions that I had for my YouTube videos. I also do like different types of YouTube videos, right? So I use them in order to create a course, and I didn't check back in there, but that's also another website that you'd want to look into as well.
So Carlo, I have a question for you. Typically,
Yeah.
you do tutoring, right? And maybe there's somebody that's possibly could be watching that wants to know, how much do you typically make while tutoring?
Right. Well, a lot of the tutoring platforms pay very well. I mean, you can make up to $25 an hour tutoring students. I know at VIP Kids, which is really, really great. Again, like you're doing it from the comfort of your own home. A really great thing that I enjoy about the VIP Kid platform is that, once again, now a great part of it is that they're going international. But what I was going to say is they actually prepare the slides and the lessons for you. So essentially what you're doing is you're just kind of going off the lesson plan that they've prepared for you. So it's very easy to memorize. Okay, today I'm doing level 3, unit 1, and I know that level 3 is within a specific age category. And for the money, it's very enjoyable work. So yeah, you can make up to about $25 an hour, I think, on most of these English teaching platforms. And then, of course, for my own music lessons, it's really up to you individually what you'd like to charge, but it's not unheard of to charge about $50, $60 per session. And that's, for how long you want to go. I know some who, tutor piano who charge much more than that. And again, if it's something that's very specific, and if it's in itself, it has a niche, then again, you have the opportunity to charge even more per hour, which is great.
So do you, like, for example, for the English one, do you need like a qualification or something, or how does it really work?
Yeah, so for the English one, they do ask that you have a undergraduate degree of some sort, so like a BA of some sort. And then there is a small certification that you can actually get through their website in regards to teaching English. So it's some multiple choice tests, nothing too crazy. A little bit of studying is involved, but it's sort of like a certification that's specialized for their platform that says you are qualified to teach English internationally or specifically to students in China, Beijing, Hong Kong. And you can do it all from their platform. I know that mine took me no longer than I think a day to complete, and I was certified the same day that I started that process. There is a hiring process that involves doing an interview, and you have to kind of go through a mock lesson where a teacher like me will sort of pretend to be a student, and then you kind of have to go through the lesson with the teacher and kind of act and use TPR, hand symbols, that kind of thing to really get the student engaged in the lesson, do a mock lesson with them. And then you're also judged on, the props that you use and if you get past that. But honestly, it's a very easy and enjoyable process to get started on something like that. So I would highly recommend.
That sounds really good. Thanks for your explanation.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the next one. Providing pet services. Yeah, so this one's a little more fun, I think.
I've seen a lot of these actually. Like walk your pets.
Yeah, there's a great app called Rover too, which a few of my friends have gotten into recently, where you can actually offer your services on the app and offer to babysit cats, dogs, any kind of pet, whatever it is.
Is that in Canada?
Yeah.
Really? Okay, that's pretty cool. And it's like a lot of people go on it.
Yeah, and it's actually a really great way to test out if you would like a dog or a cat. Because if the person's on vacation for 2 weeks and you want to get some experience in taking care of a dog, it's a good responsibility. It's a good thing to take on. Sort of a good test to see if you want to do it and you're making money at the same time. And
fun.
if you love pets, it's a really great side hustle, right? Like the potential is definitely there. I mean, you could even potentially run your little, depending on your own space, your own
I've
pet
actually read
daycare.
somewhere in the statistics on Instagram. It was on for Stats Canada. I think 56% of Canadians actually have pets, so it'll be a really good side hustle.
Yeah. From my personal experience, I used to run a bit of a, I'll say a bit. At one time, I had about 50 animals. I used to run an exotic animal rescue.
Wow.
When I was in high school for a little while. So I would help rehome things like turtles, snakes, lizards, frogs. I even rehomed a parrot, a macaw at one time. It's typically the pets that were, on the more exotic side of things. I think I even did some really cool insects at some point, some geckos, right? And that was super rewarding because I got to work with a number of animals. I at that time, I was actually super interested in getting into veterinary studies and zoology. And then of course I went to the other side once I got into the music side, right? But it was such an enjoyable side hustle for me. I honestly cannot recommend it enough. And like I said, it could be something as simple as starting your own little pet daycare or a rescue or whatever you wanted to do. Grooming services. I can't tell you how many dog groomers I know who are running a successful side business or even a full-time business doing that, because it does take a lot of care, a lot of skill to groom dogs. even a walking service, right? Like that's a huge thing for a lot of people, especially elderly people who have dogs who wish they could take their dogs out on long walks. Offer those services in your local community groups, on Facebook, the buy and sell groups.
I
Say you're
think
offering dog.
that's a good idea. 100%.
Absolutely.
I would do that.
Yeah. And I think that, pets are always something that people are going to have. So there's never not going to be a market for this kind of thing. Right.
Yeah,
and I think that's a kind of, going back to the reselling items thing as well. That was specifically why I decided to target that niche of reselling items for people who have pets. People are always going to want to spend money on their little fur babies, right? They're always going to want to do that. So, and it's enjoyable for you too. Like I love dogs. I love cats. So it's definitely a side hustle that requires a lot of responsibility and a lot of attention. So if you think you can handle that, definitely look into it. I think that if you're getting paid to cuddle with some dogs and cuddle with some cats, that sounds like a great.
It's almost like babysitting, right? In a way.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, right? It's exactly like babysitting. And people view it as just the same. And you know what? A lot of people will pay just the same as that too.
100%. Yeah. And I think I really like what you said about like the Facebook business thing, because that's a great way to provide your services with this, right? And it brought back some memories. It's not with pets, but when I was a kid, because it snows a lot in Alberta, right? Me and my buddy, we got some shovels. We started knocking on doors, started collecting like $5 from everybody to shovel their snow. So pretty much like with these services or any type of services, you just got to be really creative, think outside the box. And if you're a kid, like if you're willing to do the work, somebody will pay you, right? And you can make a little bit of money.
Speaking of the shoveling, actually in around 2018, when it was, I think the second year when we moved into Brampton, from Mississauga to Brampton, so we actually had to call a person to shovel snow from the lawn in our house. And actually the thing is, this kind of business benefits people a lot, because often people are lazy to go out and shovel, and with us, we were so like exhausted from shoveling that we had to call someone. And the guy, he made I think like $1,000 just for shoveling people's like people's lawns like that, and they drive away.
Yeah, there's a lot of money to be made in that for sure. Yeah, definitely.
So we have a question, Carlo.
Oh, great.
So I can read it out. So Cynthia had a question saying, I love that idea, but couldn't it be liability? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, good point to bring up, Cynthia. Definitely. It's definitely a side hustle where you wanted to look into the specifics of the insurance required to watch and groom pets. I know that if you're doing it through the app of Rover, you're actually covered through Rover, and they do a really good job of protecting the people that apply, and they have background checks and all that kind of stuff. So I think if you're worried about the liability thing, go through a place that has insurance kind of built into it. And Rover is a company that does have that liability covered. Like I said, they run the background checks. Both the owner of the pet and yourself are held to a very, very high degree when it comes to remaining professional, and not just anybody can join. They definitely run a background check on who is joining the platform. And of course, you need to be at an age, I think they'll only accept like 18 or older. But yeah, there sometimes is definitely specific insurance that is involved. It depends, right? If you're doing it kind of an under the table kind of thing, then probably not. But that can also get a little bit questionable from time to time. Just make sure that it's with people you trust and that the people trust you. And like I said, that level of responsibility is there for the people giving you the opportunity to watch the pets, and you watching the pets and taking care of the pets too. Because it's a big job. It's a really big job.
100%.
Yeah. So glad that you brought that up though. Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, so let's keep going on to the next one here. Host with Airbnb. So it's interesting that we're talking about this, because I just booked my Airbnb for Kingston for the next time I'm in school. It's such a lucrative business. It really is, because more oftentimes than not, finding a place to rent temporarily is, not an option for some places. So having an Airbnb property that's close to some place like a university or perhaps the beach or a vacation destination spot is a really, really great idea. Honestly, just having property in general is a really great idea, right? I mean, investing in property is obviously very, very smart. And if possible, I know that one of my close friends had a coach house in their just above their garage, and they were using that as an Airbnb property here in Markham. And it's a good space that they use for a little extra cash, and it can be used as a source of passive income for those who want to keep their time free, but also, make some extra money. Of course, you need a space to host, right? Like you need a room, a house or apartment or somewhere people can stay. But if you have one, like that kind of coach house idea, you're golden. You can absolutely even cut Airbnb out of the deal and host your own thing privately, although there are some serious benefits to using the Airbnb site because they do the marketing for you. They give you a reputation. You have like the whole grading system on there. It is a bit easier to find guests, and there's a greater chance of them booking your place out consistently on a site like Airbnb on that platform.
So
there's Yeah,
I
no, go
want to
ahead.
talk about this like Airbnb thing and
Mhm.
kind of like, I know you talked about a little bit about the business side, but I
Yeah.
want to talk about how it's like really affecting like the hotel side, because
Yes.
back
Yeah.
then, when we went to like a trip, we'd usually book a hotel, but now we always, like 90% of the time, we would book an Airbnb just
Mhm.
because you feel more like free, like at home. And I actually been seeing this a lot internationally. Actually, I'm from Sri Lanka and we're building a house there, and by the time that we're not there, we want to like Airbnb it out almost, right? And a lot
Absolutely.
of international people are doing it, and it's sometimes much better than staying in a hotel, right? So it's really cool how like
I got something to add on this. If
yeah,
you're talking about internationally, my brother, he's been to Paris and to Italy, and both those times when he went, he stayed in Airbnb continuously. He said it costs less, it's comfortable, and it's right near where you want it to be. So you don't have to worry about any hotels or anything. Only thing is when he went to LA, the Airbnb, it was not what he expected, but overall he had a good experience there.
yeah, I had a situation like that too, but most of the time the Airbnb is really a great thing. Do you guys think a lot of people that host Airbnbs in Canada, do you think they live in Canada, or do you think they live internationally?
I would suspect Canada, but
Yeah.
perhaps it's like a dual citizenship thing as well. Like perhaps they have the place in Canada for when it's warmer somewhere else. Maybe they live in the States, part time. I know a lot of people have a lot of places, in places like Stratford, Ontario, where the theater is going on there. There's a lot of cool Airbnbs, even in just Kingston right now, within my own experience, that a lot of people have that don't necessarily always live in their Airbnb space. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I asked that, I know there's gonna be some changes to like the taxes and stuff when it comes to like foreign property. So I wonder how it's gonna really affect Airbnb and that type of market.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I think
There's a Netflix show on Airbnb actually. There's a show called Amazing Vacation Rentals. I've been watching this actually for about last 2-3 months. So they show like really amazing Airbnb, like from like different parts of the world, and they show like how their check-in is, how their experience is, and some of them even have their own chefs in there, so already in there. So it's like it's more of an elegant style of an Airbnb what they show, but still, but it's actually a show. That's how I want to commit.
I can't tell you how much I love the renovation shows when they create the shows that are
Yeah.
making really nice places to stay at. I'm trying to think about the one right now.
The one I think you're talking motels, right?
It was Instant Hotel.
Instant Hotel, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one I watched it. They
my
take
gosh.
motels and then they make it like much nicer. It's two girls,
Yeah.
right? The two ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that.
There was that one, and then there was the one that was based in it had a lot of Australian contestants. There was one that was specifically based in
I know what you're talking
Australia.
about. Yeah. But I think that was also Airbnb though.
Yeah, like a bunch of them were Airbnbs.
Yeah,
but the whole concept was the people were competing. So they took a bunch of Airbnbs, they took the hosts, put them all on this show, and then each host for each Airbnb
They slept in
stayed
the other. Yeah, that's a really
in
good
the other.
show.
and then they judged the Airbnb, and
Yeah.
it got so heated that people got
It
really
did.
into it, right? But I was so entertaining, and it was so awesome to see, and even just talk about how much income these people are kind of generating in their properties, because like some of these properties were on an Australian beach. I think we're talking about Bondi Beach in Australia, right? And it's like, oh, just like the most gorgeous area, and it's so like something like this can be such a great great passive income.
It is, and like it creates a great passive income, but I also think it also hurts the hotel business too. That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So my really thing is like, I wonder in the next 10, 20 years, what's gonna happen to the hotels? Like, are they still gonna be the same? Is it gonna be more like, the house style that people like start buying homes and making them into Airbnb? So
There's
No,
gonna
it's
be
so
more
true.
competition, I
Yeah,
think, when
for
it comes
sure.
to the
For
traveling
sure
business.
there is. Yeah, I know for me, like for example, I was in online school for Queen's University in the summer, and our professor would say things to us like, "Hey, we're going to get back in person for those of you who are, because we're going back and forth all year from your placement to in-school classes here in Kingston. A hotel might be a good option for you." And we all kind of were just like, "Hotel? What am I like? What age am I?" Yeah, right. But
yeah,
I don't mean to kind of sound like that, but it's true. Like a lot of the young folks, like they don't even go to hotel anymore. They're like, oh, I'm going to go to an Airbnb, especially for something long term, right? I mean, long term, something is super affordable. You can find something sometimes for like less than $1,000 for a month at an Airbnb, right? And a lot of them, which are really great, treat it as like a bed and breakfast, which is super cool too. So the person is kind of there with you, and then you have access to the kitchen, that kind of stuff. So yeah, really, really great. Really, really great. Can be a really great source of passive income. So
100%.
passive income is kind of another thing that I can kind of transition into this next slide here. If you want to expand your side hustle kind of later on, Ravinda, you can kind of help me out with this, but I think an important aspect of thinking about this is building a business that's scalable, right? So meaning that it can grow into something bigger, right? So it's in this case for side hustles, it's super important to start small, because you can create that solid, steady stream of passive income or part-time revenue before it kind of turns into a full-blown business. There's a lot of factors that contribute to scalability. One of the big ones is how much of your direct involvement is needed at all times, right? As opposed to how much you can delegate, how much you can take time off of. Like, for example, if you're tutoring the clients one-on-one, right? You need to be there for the whole session. You need to be there all the time. It's how it goes. But if you build an online course where somebody can take and you can package it up and sell to multiple people without having to do work like at the direct time, that's something that you can do passively. That's also super scalable. And you can make that into a full-time thing too, building courses while also taking time off if those courses sell. I know a great example of this is a YouTuber I watch, Jesse James West. I was recently inspired to buy his workout plan, his workout program, and it is a really great program. But that's a perfect example of a package, a course that he's created that is it's quite literally just a Google Doc, right? That you input your things into, and it comes with recommendations on diet, what you want your workouts to look like. But it's essentially just a Google Doc that he's selling for, $60, $100 USD, whatever it is. And he's done that already, and he's selling that as a package to people to purchase online, right? And that's what I'm kind of talking about in terms of the scalability. Like what do you think? What are some other things that people could do?
So what I think really is, when it becomes a side hustle or a business, you got to look at two things. Like, number one is, when you're going into starting a side hustle or a business, you got to look at, what are the services that I provide, and are they important, right? Because everything has to have a benefit. If the question, the saying is in business is, are you solving someone's problem? Right? If you can solve someone's problem, you can make a ton of money, right? So for example, like the tutoring, you're helping somebody with their English skills, right? You're solving a problem. And then next thing is like scalability. So you got to look at like, okay, how can I eventually scale this into a bigger thing if it's successful for me, right? So for example, I'll use snow shoveling, right? For example, let's say you do really good. Like, so you started the side every day because it snows where you live a lot. You started doing a couple houses. Everybody starts to get to know you. Maybe you can scale that in by, hiring a couple of people where you don't have to do the work, but you can pay them a certain rate, right? So
Absolutely.
I think with any side hustle, it is scalable. You just have to be creative in that thought. Okay, how can I expand this more? How can I create
Hmm.
this more?
Yeah.
One of the biggest side hustles I see is cleaning, right? Cleaning business. Right now, actually, my parents and we do this. We clean a church, and we used to clean a restaurant where they would pay us almost like $3,000 a month,
Hmm.
and that was like part time. And the crazy thing is, some of these cleaning contracts are subcontracted, right?
I
So
know. Yes.
people have
Yes.
these businesses where they would give you contracts, but it's only a small portion of what they actually get. So that's another
Right.
business, right? Because there's so many people right now, guys, that want to do something, you know, not like a typical job.
Hmm.
And a lot of people, they take advantage and say, okay, I'll give you a cleaning contract and here's how much you pay, right? So
Yeah.
that's a great example of how you can use that and pretty much do that, right?
And then
So
they get someone else to clean,
Another
and
side
then they're paying
hustle,
them. I totally understand. Yeah.
if
Yeah,
it comes to
100%.
parties, another side hustle would be catering. Another thing would be fantasy, would be having photo booths. My brother, he did a side hustle like
Right.
that during his 4th year of university when he graduated from Ryerson. And in there, like the whole summer, he had appointments of people asking him to come at their events and have a photo booth there. And it was pretty successful. But the thing is, like, since he didn't have enough time, he didn't get time to actually hire people for that. Then he started another business. But it's like, if you can do photo booths, they actually are really helpful, because even if it's a community event, even if it's someone's party, it works.
Yeah. Oh, well,
Absolutely.
that's a great idea. When you start about camera, like, photos and stuff, gives me reminding of one of the side hustles I did. Uh, if you have skills with, like, taking pictures, one of the side hustles you can do is, talk to some real estate agents in your area, figure out how much people they're paying the person to take photos, and do it for a little bit cheaper, right? And if you do like the first couple of free, you can get a ton of business, especially in that, Toronto, BC area, where, real estate photographers make a ton of money because of the value of the properties. That's a really great side hustle that you can
And,
do.
and those come up on Facebook Marketplace every time when I log into. I always see real like pictures of houses in there. That's the first thing I
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah. So what I did is, to get some people and like know people, is I started contacting all those Facebook Marketplace houses, and I would send them like a generic message saying, hey, this is my service. I would like to show you my work. I can do the first one free for you to earn your business, right? And usually, nobody's gonna deny something free. And if you're really good at what you do, you can, get a lot of customers.
That's a really great idea, Vindu. Yeah, I've been meaning to ask you about that actually. I think that's a really great strategy, like just offering the same service for a little bit less until you can kind of get onto the same level. I think that's a really great
100%.
idea. That's what I did when I started detailing, man. I saw that these other detailers were charging almost like $300 for an interior detail, which is, to me, it was just like absolutely, like, that was wild money, right? Of
Yeah.
course I could get onto that level now, but it took me like 4 years to get there, right?
Of course, you got to build
And
your name.
absolutely. So, I'd started $100, right? And that was for kind of any size vehicle. Was it the best job when I first started out? Was I matching that quality? Probably not, but I was pretty close.
Yeah.
I'll admit it. I was like, maybe not. I'm just one guy. I took twice as long. They're paying significantly less, so they didn't mind. But that's how I kind of built it up. It's really a matter of just building yourself up. Like, it goes along with this scalable theme that I think we're talking about, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Another really cool passive side income that I've been trying to look into recently is mining, like mining cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Nice Hash is a really cool platform that anyone can kind of just jump onto if you've got a PC with a decent graphics card. I'm actually mining right now as we're doing this Zoom on my one PC, and I'm mining Bitcoin right now. It's a really great passive income stream because, depending on the level of graphics card that you have and the kind of power that your computer has, the better hash rate you get on, mining your cryptocurrency, and that means better profit, better revenue for you. So another really great passive income stream right there that doesn't involve a whole lot of work. If you want, you could just set up a nice little mining rig, is what they call them, which is basically a really powerful computer with a lot of graphics cards lined up together. An initial cost that can be pretty expensive, but pays itself off in the long run if you've got it mining and if you've got it working, and you're keeping your computers in good shape, kind of thing.
100%, yeah. I think one of the most famous side hustles that we all know of is Uber, Skip the Dishes, and DoorDash, right? I think that's one we forgot to talk about.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what we need the most. At the same time.
Especially if you're in like university, you're in not high school, because you got to be like over 18. If you're in a university, or you have a car and you have car payments, what you can do is, when you're done school, you can go do some Uber, and like go to some busy areas, do some Uber to pay your car bills. Right. So I know someone that's done that, and they actually managed to pay off their whole car just by doing Uber. Right. He would do it every night when it's busy, like, and then people tip more. So that's a really big side hustle that you can do.
Is this a new car he was paying off?
Yeah, it was actually a van that he had.
Oh, okay, cool.
A newer van that he had, and he did that, and he paid off, I think, like 20,000 or something in a couple of years just by doing Uber, right? So
that's really smart. Yeah,
it is. It's a smart thing, and if you have the time and a lot of free time at nighttime or whenever you're free, you can do it, right? So it's a great side hustle that doesn't require a lot of skill, as in like what ideas you need to think, because it's already there, right?
Right. Yeah.
So I'll ask you guys, what do you guys think like are some of your favorite side hustles to do? I know Carly do detailing. What else are you looking to get into?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, even just going back to the mining, I think I'd love to actually have a mining rig set up in the future. I've got I've got my eyes on some graphics cards right now that are, lined up, hopefully to, I'm going to purchase this year. The only thing is I don't have a lot of knowledge when it comes to building computers, so I've got to do some more research on that, but that's something that I'm super interested in. I think crypto is like very interesting, very cool. So on the up and up, so.
Actually, when you talk about building computers, one of my buddies, he used to build computers, and he would charge like $200
as a side hustle. That's exactly. Yeah.
So pretty much anything in the world that you can do for somebody that can't do it, you can do as a side hustle.
It definitely has some value. Yeah.
Like everything works in side hustle, in my opinion. Anything you just like try selling it, you'll get customers. But it depends on how much hard work you put in there.
Yeah, absolutely, Hunyah. I mean, another good kind of side hustle is, starting a blog, like whether it's a video like blog on YouTube or whatever it is. I mean, Hunyah, you have some experience in this, right?
Yeah, I've been doing it since 2019. I've been doing this blogging and YouTubing, and actually because of there, like people actually call me to actually work with them. Before that, it's like actually like how I started was I didn't have a job, so I figured out why don't I just like start something and start writing. Then eventually when people around me got to know me more, and then I started to do Facebook Live videos. From there, I started YouTube videos. And now it's like wherever I go, like I get like I'm doing different collaborations all the time. So it's like it's a good side hustle. And then I also have like different materials along with it. So it's like I also facilitate as a part of that. I also support other businesses. I support other artists. So it's kind of different things that go in there because there's endless possibilities in there.
Yeah, that's really great. I mean, even if I can just talk about my own little YouTube channel, almost 6K subs, like very, very small. I gain passively a couple $100 a month on my YouTube channel just from my vlogs that I've done or my video how-tos on things, right? And like here's a little, I think I have oh no, it's up in a bit. But another thing that I do with that vlog or those videos is I link it to another side hustle of mine, which is, I'm sure you've heard about this, Ravindu, the Amazon affiliate marketing. Yeah. So a lot of people, when they're doing their vlogs and they're doing their videos, what they'll do is they'll input the products that they use as an Amazon affiliate link, which is very, very easy to set up. Essentially, you just go on Amazon, you get your affiliate link, you become sort of like a member with this program that they're in. And you can copy and paste a special link. So that way, whenever somebody buys the product that they're interested in, when it comes to it being on your channel or whatever it is, if they click on it through that link and they buy it through that link, a portion of that payment goes to you, which is super cool, especially if you've got a video that's gaining upwards like 200,000 views. I think my most viewed one is almost like 230,000 or something like that. I'm expecting it to hit 300 by the end of the year. 300,000, I think that'd be fantastic. But I've got some Amazon affiliate links on there for some cleaning products that I used in the video because people were interested in them. People were asking questions about them. So I simply, I wish I had said and known more about it within that video, because that video was the one that went viral. I would have said something within the video saying, hey, check out the links below. They're Amazon affiliate links. You can buy the product there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys know, like Amazon products in general are going to be more expensive than they would normally be like within stores, because they have that ease of accessibility, that delivery one day, you don't have to leave your house, that kind of thing. So it's going to be a bit more expensive. So typically you can get some pretty good money off of a platform like
I was gonna
this.
say, I've seen so many ads of affiliate marketing. I don't know what it was until you explained to me. And another thing I want to mention about Amazon, you could also do drop shipping, and you could also start as a side hustle. That's actually how my brother got started. Like stocks is like when he was in university, when he's graduating. Then later on he started drop shipping with Amazon, and now he's running an entire business.
Nice.
Really very cool.
Well,
yeah.
One thing you've tried to mention, Carlo, is like Twitch stream. I don't know if it's coming up, but Twitch
absolutely
gaming stream. And I feel like gaming in general, and that can be a whole other topic, but it's really crazy how we're going into that gaming and esports, where now colleges have their own esports teams, and like you're versing each other. Yeah. And man, I wish like in high school we had that. It'd be so much fun. like basketball team, but you got like a gaming team too.
But it's so true, right? Yeah, I mean the esports thing. I saw a program offered in Durham College. Man, Durham College has a really great esports program where you kind of learn how to market yourself as an esports player, which is like for me that's unheard of, right? Because I'm on the same cutoff as you, where in high school we were taught to like forget about video games. It's you're never going to make a career off of video games, right? But
now it's happening.
Right? Yeah, I mean, here you have these Twitch streamers who are averaging 40,000 people watching them every time they stream. Like,
dude, look at that kid that won the Fortnite World Cup, 16 years old, made like $2 million, right? Yeah. One of the things I seen actually in China, where do you guys know?
Did he make $2 million? Sorry, did he actually make 2 million?
Yeah, around
oh my gosh, I have to just double check that. Continue. I gotta look that up.
Yeah, so it's 2 million or 1 million, one or the other, right? Okay. You can take a look.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the game League of Legends?
Oh yeah.
Have you heard of it?
Of course.
So that game in China, they had a university program where they would teach you how to play that game, and the course would be on gaming, right? And I used to have some friends in the States. They would say in college they would have teams that would play each other, and like it's crazy how in the future we're gonna have a lot more that type of entertainment instead of like the basketball, boxing type of entertainment. How those are gonna happen, right? So.
Like it's becoming a trend.
It is definitely becoming a trend, and it's more sometimes more entertaining. Sometimes some of the biggest esports people make a ton of money, right? And
I actually just checked. So the player who came second place made 2.25 million.
Wow. Okay. So how much is the
first? The first place player. Let's see here. Kyle Buga Giersdorf won more playing Fortnite than what Novak Djokovic took home from his Wimbledon victory 2 weeks ago. Here's the first Fortnite World Cup champion. This is CNBC, by the way. So, very reputable source. He said, "Today's the day." That's what Kyle tweeted as he walked into Arthur Ashe Stadium in New York on Sunday. A few hours later, the 16-year-old resident of Pottsgrove, Pennsylvania, left with the trophy and $3 million to his name as the first Fortnite World Cup champion.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's certainly something else.
It actually reminded me of, there was an article that came out that parents are actually hiring coaches, like gaming coaches, to coach their kids how to play games. Instead of how back then, if you go to our parents' age, right, when their parents would hire them a tutor to go study, maybe in the future we're going to be hiring tutors to teach our kids how to play games, right? So it's crazy how the world is
Yeah,
changing.
that could be another good side hustle too at the same time.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now it's kind of stupid for you to tell your kid to stop playing games because maybe one day that can bring you $1 million home, right?
Oh,
Like
100%.
my little
Yeah.
cousins, like they're all four of them are into Fortnite. So for them, it's like they have to learn how to play it. And then with their moms, it's like with my aunts, like they just say that, okay, you know what, as long as they're playing, we're okay, because then they don't bother them. They could do
Right.
their duty.
Right.
That.
Yeah, a big one in esports right now is Call of Duty Warzone, that was made popular in the during when the
Warzone.
pandemic just kind of started. But like Toronto has a esports team, Toronto Ultra, specifically for one specific game, Call of Duty, which is to me it's kind of crazy, right? Because it's like, again, like you said, you wouldn't have thought about this, even like 10 years ago. Right. And
100%,
now
yeah.
we have these professional esports team with a bunch of funding because people really enjoy watching it.
And coaches, like they actually have a full team, like
Yeah.
especially in like League of Legends, they would have like 4 coaches. They would get coached like a basketball player would get coached, right?
Yeah.
And it's insane how our world is changing so much into like that technology. I really think in the future we're gonna have something where you can like put on the thing and go into like virtual reality. That'd be
Virtual
cool,
reality. Yeah.
right? With like your
Yeah.
whole body. I know we have the thing, but with your whole body, maybe, right? So
Well, it's super cool to kind of even see those games being played. I don't know if you've ever
The
seen an
first
esports
movie
game
I
being
actually saw
played.
that did actually have that concept was Spy Kids 3D. That time I was 10 years old. That's where they first showed that concept of where you just put in a thing and
Right.
go inside the video game.
Yeah,
So yeah, like
that's true.
if we see that in reality, that will be a really interesting thing.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever seen the whole esports games being played, like especially when it comes to those Fortnite cups or the Call of Duty cups.
Yeah, I think I've seen those ads.
Overwatch.
Like they have all these, like they show it a lot. I think on like it was on YTV when I remember I saw those things that for Fortnite you could get this, you could get that, and they advertise it.
Yeah,
right.
But even the players playing, like them, like actually doing the comms and stuff, and like how intense it gets, like it gets extremely heated. It's really interesting to watch because like they're communicating over headsets like this. Like I have another one here, right, with their little microphone. They're speaking into it really, intensely to their teammates, and it's a whole different world that they're in when they're playing.
It's like I think that you need all the material now to play this game now. I think that's what it's going towards.
I know League of Legends, because I play League of Legends, and they're talking about like the esports, and then have you seen the stadium of how much people are there? It's insane. It's like 100,000 people watching them play on the stadium. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Right? It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it just shows to like how you can take any type of skill that you have, and if you have a passion in something, you can make money out of it nowadays.
Yeah, Twitch streaming has become a really, really great thing, really big thing.
100%, yeah.
I don't know if anyone live watching or if any of you guys know Tim the Tap Man.
Yeah, I know Tim the Tap Man. Yeah.
Tim the Tap Man. He started when he was like in his 20s. And now he's in his mid 30s, I think, and he's probably like the biggest streamer, one of the biggest names right now.
He grew because of Fortnite, right?
He did, yeah, he did, and then he took a lot of popularity over because of Warzone, because like that.
Yeah, Warzone, yeah.
Fortnite was more for like the younger crowd, I feel like, and then Warzone was more for kind of.
Well, what happened was Fortnite kind of died, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
I remember, man. We were in high school. We would play so much Fortnite, and everybody was playing it, right? Even like people in college, and it was such a big thing at that time. Like, it's crazy because that game really changed like the industry. I think.
Oh, it changed esports for sure. It 100%. Really did.
I think Ninja, he broke the amount of views that a Twitch streamer had. I think I don't remember the number it was, but I remember him breaking it, right? And pretty much he was what was that game? He was a PUBG guy, right?
PUBG player, that's right. Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, it just blew up.
And then he gets his own avatar in Fortnite. He gets his own skin.
Well, not just Fortnite, everything. Even like I seen the Raid of the Shadow Legends. I don't know what that is, but I seen it.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. So it's crazy how if you're good at gaming and you're good at that, you can make money in that nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. You can. It can be more than a side hustle for sure. Amazing. So, this is just to finish things off here. But here was that thumbnail for that YouTube video. You guys have probably seen this in some of our other podcasts. I use this one in here too. But going back to the Amazon affiliate marketing thing, I would put, oh, here's the product I use in this video, and then put a link to it underneath so people could use that link to purchase the products. Another great one is freelance writing. You can get hired by a bunch of different platforms to do freelance writing on. It's a really great way to practice your English skills, your writing skills. If you're a fast typer, really great thing. And that's everything, everyone. So a really great talk today
There's one I
on
think
side
called
hustles.
Fever. That's like.
What's it called? Sorry.
I was gonna say there's one I know for. It's called Fever, I think. For
Okay.
Fiverr,
Yes,
writing.
Fiverr,
There's another one
Fiverr.
too. The Upwork.
Exactly.
There's
Yeah.
like I know those two do freelance writing.
Definitely.
Fiverr is
they
actually a
offer
really
that.
great
Yeah.
service. A lot of people use that.
A lot of people do. Yeah, for
Yeah.
a bunch of different things, right? Not just writing, but a bunch of
100%,
different
yeah.
things. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please follow our socials right down there below at Moksha Canada on Instagram, Moksha Canada Foundation on Facebook, at Moksha Canada on Twitter, and Moksha Canada Foundation on YouTube. I'm once again one of your hosts, Carlo, at Carlo V. Joseph on Instagram.
I'm
Thanks, man.
Ravindu. See you guys.
I'm Hunyah, so see you guys soon.
Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your night.